You had 3 children and you lived in Leeds and your family were in Luton. Did you struggle bringing up those 3 children away from your family with no sort of backup or help, really? I mean, your husband was at work, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when my son was born and I said to my mum, she gave him to me and she said, when she said, here you go, have your son, and I said, kind of felt more like my brother. I was like, really, Mum, you don't want him? She was like, no, I've got to go. You've got to look after him now. But then I had my husband at home for 4 weeks and I was almost in that bubble for a while, and then he was at home and he changed.
All the nappy changes.
He did all the nappy changes. I did the feeding, and then the day he went back to work, I just felt like my world had just collapsed. I did not want him to leave. I cried and I said, how am I supposed to look after him on my own? He's like, you're doing a fantastic job. But I think when you're a parent, when you're a mother, you don't, like, I think it's such a tough thing to do.
Well, I think
anyway.
you feel like everybody else looks like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And because nobody can see inside your head, they may well be thinking the same thing of you.
Yeah.
So when you were at that stage, would these kind of perfect photographs on social media have made you feel
dreadful,
worse, or would they make you feel, well, good, there's good things as well?
No, I couldn't. You know, there's loads of websites and things, you know, for mums, and I couldn't look at them because I felt like everybody. Oh, look, there's my lot. I felt that they were all doing everything right, and I felt like I was getting everything wrong. And I went back to work when Amy was 12 weeks old, and I was doing GMTV in the morning, so up at 3, and then coming here. So I was very tired as well and feeding a baby through the night. And what I realise now, it took till she was about 2 before I accepted that actually I had postnatal depression, because I was massively struggling with putting on this facade of everything being perfect, because that's how it's how I wanted everything to be, and because life wasn't quite matching up to that, I felt like I was cracking up and failing. And for me, I must admit, it would have made life an awful lot easier if people had been very honest and said, you know what, hands up, I'm really struggling. This is really difficult, and I'm not coping very well.
It's interesting, too, though, that it comes to a mother, doesn't it? You know, and I'm not in any way sort of being critical of guys. I mean, Ian was great with our kids when they were babies, and your husband's obviously great, too. But I don't think... Do men go through this kind of angst thing about, are they living up? Are they being a good father? Are they doing it right? Are they doing it as well as the next person? I mean, do we absorb too much
But men don't get the post-baby blues because there's a hormonal thing that's going on. I know mine was definitely hormonal, and once, you know, I went on medication. Once that worked, it was literally like a fuse box. You know, one of the things has gone down. Once that flicked back up again, I felt normal. Men don't... They might have anxiety, but they don't have
But we don't give them a space to talk about it. I mean, we talk about it a lot. Maybe they don't.
But also, when we had baby, I mean, Lauren's coming up to 33 this year, so when we had a baby, natural baby, like stitches and everything, but you were in hospital for 5 days, so you had the support that you needed in hospital, that you could ask nurses if you needed to help with breastfeeding or anything. Nowadays, you're in hospital for a couple of hours, you're sent home, and there a lot of people get the baby blues. Like, I remember when I came home with Lauren, I come into the flat and it was all like really untidy, and I thought, oh my, surely he would have cleared up. I'm coming home with a baby, you know, like I was crying, and I wasn't on my own because my sister had 2 babies by then, so I had support from Tina. I'd ring up and say, she's crying, I don't know what's wrong, she's been fed, maybe she's teething. She's 6 weeks old, how can she be teething? Anyway, she had 2 teeth at 6 weeks old.
Wow.
Lauren. But it was just having someone that I could ring or speak to all the time.
But at least you were in for 5 days. Now they give them a wipe and you're on the bus home.
I know.
Was that you?
Yeah.
What happened with you?
Yeah, I mean, I had him, and then I had I had some stitches afterwards, so it was just awful, and I was home within 12 hours of having him.
So the same day?
Same day. Drugs hadn't worn off, so I got home by 9 o'clock, and I said, freeze those ice lollies, because I am in agony. You know, it was really, really
When
bad.
you say freeze those ice lollies...
Use your imagination. Do I have to?
What, something cold to just press against the sore area?
Yeah, that's how bad it was. And I'd gone home high on drugs, and then I was just absolutely... It was awful, and then you've got this baby that you've got to look after.
Yeah.
And then it's all on you. It's a lot of pressure on a woman to come home, and then I wasn't well myself, and you know, as a mum, you've gone through labour, you know, pregnancy, and then you have to come home.
And then poof, you're home.
And then
there you go.
And you're like, you have to just do everything, and that's quite tough.
I have to ask you though, you got pregnant very quickly afterwards, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because your kids are very close together in age. How soon?
Just under 9 weeks, I was pregnant again.
Wow. They were good ice lollies.
I know.
I'm going to get some of those.
I'm going to stay away from them.
I was going to say, or stay away from them.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? I think I felt so much pressure after having him. I just felt like I was such an awful... I felt like an awful mum. I was like, I'm not doing this right. And you know, I only breastfed him for about 5 months. And I was like, that's
Don't
not
say
enough.
only.
I know.
6 months is amazing.
Absolutely. But even then, I felt like, oh, I'm an awful parent. You know, how I felt so bad as a mother. And I just thought, well, I'm such an awful mum. I might as well have another baby and let him have a sibling. And that was my reasoning.
Random thought process.
It was completely random.
Yeah.
But, you know, they are best friends, and I wouldn't have changed that for the world.
And did it get easier with each baby?
Yeah, I think with time it did get easier, but then I had my daughter, and girls are a whole other ball game.
Yes, they are.
Yes.